Hey, told that y'all family, may the peace of y'all come upon you when you learn to obey him. This is part 2, dealing with the orders of the priests and the prince of Yah and the coming kingdom of Yah. So we're going to cover these things, and I'm going to pick back up where I left off at in Ezekiel chapter 45 at this time in verse 7. And then in chapter 45, you can see when we get back into that land, and the land began to be divided, and the first portion of that land, you can see in chapter 45, verse 1, the first portion is going to be divided, and it's for Yah, yes, the set-apart place, the place for the temple, and then you can cover the rest. And then I'm going to get into you, I'm going to show you the part right here. We're going to get into it right now. In chapter 45, verse 7 of Ezekiel, I'm trying to get my focus. It's on 2 special sections of the land. I don't have to focus on it yet. Okay, there you go. Is it 2 special sections of the land should be set apart for the prince, one on each side. Right here. Of the Kodesh land. See, they got holy land, but it's Kodesh lands and city. It is a contagious with them in length. And the eastern and western boundaries are the same as those of the tribal sections. It said this should be the allotment. It said, my prince shall no longer oppress and rob my people, but shall assign all the remainder of the land to the people, giving a portion to each tribe. For Yah Barah said to the rulers, quit robbing and cheating my people out of their land and expelling them from their homes. Always be fair and honest. See, this was going to take place in the time to come, brothers and sisters. It never took place before. And this is going to be the order. And that's going to be the mindset of the prince in that day, brothers and sisters. I'm doing this video on my car, so I'm kind of cramped up for the moment. So I'm doing the best I can right now. I said, you must use honest scales and honest bushels and honest gallons. It said a homer shall be your standard unit of measurements for both the liquid and dry measures. Smaller units shall be the ephah, 1/10 of a homer for dry measures, and the bath, 1/10 of a homer for liquid. The unit of weight shall be the silver shekel, about a half an ounce. It must always be exchanged for 20 gerahs. No less. 5 shekels shall be valued at 5 shekels. No less than 10 shekels. At 10 shekels, 50 shekels shall always equal 1 maneh. So, this is the tax that you must give to the prince. A bushel of wheat or barley for every 6 you have. Excuse me, every 6 you reap. So every 6 you gather, that's the measurement amount you should give to the prince. And 1% of your olive oil. You see that? From each 200 sheep and all your flock, and Yashael give him one sheep. These are the meal offerings, the burnt offerings, and the thanks offerings to make atonement for those who bring them. Says Yah Barak. See, that's going to take place in the new kingdom of Yah. The new kingdom of Yah, the kingdom of Yah. It said all the people of Yashael should bring their offering to the prince. You see that? It said all. The prince shall be required to, this is very important right here, the prince shall be required to furnish the people with, they got sacrifice with is the offering for public worship. Sin offerings. See that? For the sin offerings. The prince is going to do that. That's what the prince is, the Messiah. He's going to do that. See? He's going to furnish. It said he required to furnish the people with the offerings for the public worship. Sin offerings. Burnt offerings. Meal offerings. Drink offerings. And thanks offerings. To make reconciliation. See? Reestablish a relationship between Yah and the people. For the people of Yashael Yah. This is what the prince is going to do, brothers and sisters. It's very important. This is duties. And so this should be done at the time of the feast. See, they got religious, but it's not religious at the time of the feast of Yah. The appointed time, the appointed feast. The new moon, see, we're going to say the new moon, ceremonies, the Sabbaths, and all other similar occasions. You see that? When we begin to keep this time again, brothers and sisters, it's all gonna be done according to the orders of Yah. See, this how gonna go when we're in the kingdom. It's gonna take place just like this. The prince gonna usher in that when we begin to keep the Sabbath again, the new moon of Yahweh. We're all gonna be in line with Yah and tune. So right here it say Yah Barak say on each new year day, offer a young bull. They got sacrifice, but that's killing of a young bull, offering of a young bull with no blemishes. See, to purify the temple. You see that? It say the priest shall take some of the blood of this sin offering and put it on the doorpost of the temple and upon the four corners of the base of the altar upon the walls at the entry of the inner court. Give me a moment. Found my place. Lost my place. At the inner court, right there. So do this also on the 7th day of that moon for anyone who has sinned through error or ignorance. So the temple will be cleansed. It's on the 14th day of the same moon. You should celebrate the Passover. You see that? It will be a 7-day feast. Only bread without yeast shall be eaten during those days. And on the day of Passover, the prince should provide a young bull for a sin offering. You see that? For himself and for all the people of Yashael Yah. This is what the prince is going to do, brothers and sisters, in that day and in that time. So let me keep reading. It said, on each of the 7 days of the feast, he shall prepare a burnt offering to Yah, and this daily offering will consist of 7 young bulls and 7 rams without blemish. A young goat will also be given each day for a sin offering. And the prince shall provide 14 bushels of grain for the meal offering, 1 bushel for each bullock and ram. and 21 gallons of olive oil, 1.5 gallons to go with each bushel. Early in October, they put the October, during each of the 7 days of the annual feast, he shall provide these same offerings for the sin offering, burnt offerings, meal offerings, and and oil offering. That's the requirement for the priest. For the prince, brothers and sisters, during that time. So this is very important. That these functions going to be back in order of Yah. So right here, let me continue on down on chapter 46 of Ezekiel at this time, in verse 1 to 14 at this time. It says, Yah say, the inner walls, eastern entrance shall be closed during 6 work days, but open on the 7th. And on the days of the new moon celebrations, the prince shall enter the outside entry hall of the passageway and proceed to the inner wall at the other end, while the priest offers his burnt offerings and peace offerings. And he shall worship inside the passageway, and then return back to the entrance, which shall be closed until the evening. And the people shall worship Yah in front of this passageway on the Sabbaths and on the days of the new moon celebration. You see that? And the burnt offerings which the prince offers to Yah on the 7 days shall be 6 lambs and a ram, and all unblemished, see, with all without defects. That's what got our people in trouble last time. They would bring defective animals. That's why we got put out of the land. They disregarded the laws of Yah, twisted the laws of Yah, the Torah. He said, he shall present a meal offering of 1 bushel of flour to go with the ram, and whatever amount he is willing for to go with each lamb. And he shall bring 1.5 gallons of olive oil for each bushels of flour. It says right here, it says, and at the new moon celebration, he shall bring 1 young bull in perfect condition, 6 lambs and 1 ram, all without any blemish. And with the young bull, and must bring a bushel of flour for a meal offering with the ram. And he is to bring 1 bushel of flour with the lamb. And he is to bring whatever he is willing to give with each bushel. He is to bring 1.5 gallons of olive oil. And so right here say, the prince shall go in at the entry hall of the passageway, and out the same way. He should go in and out the same way. But when the people come in through the north passageway to offer during the feast, they must go out through the south passageway. And those coming in from the south must go out by the north. See, all these things will be, instead, I'm going over this now, little short briefing, and we must rehearse these things till we get it, so we all have things in order, so a person won't lose their life. Right here. And be found in contempt. Right here. And so, and they must never go out the same way they came in, but must always use the opposite passageway. The prince shall enter and leave with the common people on these occasions. See? To summarize, at a special feast. So these are all very important instructions, what I'm showing you, brothers and sisters, that we must all be in line with. It said the Kodesh feast, the meal offering shall be 1 bushel with a young bull, and 1 bushel with the ram, as much as the prince is willing to give with each lamb, and 1.5 gallons of oil with each bushel.